Well, good morning, YouTubers. Welcome to the channel and to our latest project. If I sound a little bit quiet, that's because I'm going to have to be, because it is a very early Sunday morning here in Cornwall, and this has just arrived. This is our first ever EV car on the channel. I wanted to try one of these out for a very long time, and I test drove one down at Vosper's about 3 weeks ago and really enjoyed it. Actually, I have to say, it's more of a saloon than an SUV. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know we prefer our SUVs rather than just saloon cars these days. Probably an age-related thing, I guess. But generally speaking, I really like the whole concept, let's get out of that sun, of having an electric car, as we've never had one on the channel. And this came up at auction. It came from ASM, and as you can see, it is a looker. That's for damn sure. There are some problems with this car, that's for sure as well. And as you would expect, we are going to have to fix a few things. And as always is the case with these kind of salvage auctions, some things arrived where you think, oh, well, that's better than I thought. And some things you just think, oh shit, I didn't see that. Anyway, if you're interested in finding out about this little EV here, stick around, we'll get into it, and I'll tell you why we decided to buy probably the cheapest MG4 in the country. Let's get into it. So I'm going to keep you on this kind of angle for a little while, guys, because it does look great from this angle, doesn't it? You can see there's something going on down here. Obviously, every single wheel trim on this car has hit a curb. It's like he was just desperately trying to hit curbs with this car. I don't know what happened there. I would guess this was probably a lease car that someone didn't really give a toss about. The bodywork, generally speaking, around the sides and the back and the front is pretty good. As is always the case, though, things that really piss me off about buying cars from auctions is little things like that. That didn't happen, I don't believe, with somebody driving the car. I think that's probably happened at the yard. There's another little one just around about... maybe it's on the front, I'm not sure, but there's a couple of those type of marks, which is so annoying. And the biggest annoyance is this. Obviously you can see what's happened here. This does obviously just go back in like so, but there's a big chunk missing out of it. It's just the lip, but I've got a feeling I'm going to have to buy this entire spoiler bit here, which does come away from the window, thankfully. But that's not going to be cheap, is it? So that's a bit of a pain in the arse. It did come with the bumper as well. I'll see if I can get this open. There's no battery in the car at the moment, so some of the doors will open, some won't. I'm not sure what we can see in there, but I've got the parcel shelf. That is a huge bonus. And also, I don't normally get this with the salvage guys I use locally, but ASM actually gave me the entire bumper with the lower lip, with the under tray, and a couple of other little bits that have obviously been taken off the car, because I was wondering, we'll show you the front of the car in a minute where all the damage is. I was wondering where we're going to get the bolts to put the new bumper, which we've already ordered, by the way, onto the car. I was trying to work out the sizes and stuff, and luckily there was a box inside the car. Oh, that's it. You can have a little look inside now. There was a box inside the car just down there with 1,000 bolts in it, and something else which I'll tell you about in a minute, which is going to save me a huge amount of money. The rear parcel shelf as well. Wasn't expecting to see that. I'm guessing this guy had a dog. Obviously went to the beach, because underneath here it is an absolute shit show. It's not pretty at all. There's some more bits of plastic that have come off somewhere, but I don't think the seats are in too bad a state, apart from the front seat, which I will show you now. And bear in mind, this is a 2022 car, so it's only 3 years old, and it's already starting to sag a bit there. But the car has done 40,000 miles, which I think you'll agree, for an electric car, that's quite a lot. Interior wise though, I mean, it's what you'd expect. It's been sitting in a salvage yard. It's not been loved, obviously. I don't know when it was crashed. I could find out. I could go on to one of those kind of HPI report places, find out exactly when it was crashed, where it was crashed, etc, etc. It's had one owner, so I think it was brand new, lease hire kind of thing, and it was crashed, and obviously the insurance company just said, nah, forget it. Now, the reason why I haven't pulled a trigger on an EV before is because they're bloody hard to get unless they're Cat S, simply because of the value. I mean, this is the base model, by the way. When I say base, I mean it's the normal battery. It is the SE, but it's the normal battery, so it's kind of the cheapest one. I believe that they do. There's no heated seats, there's no heated steering wheel. The seats are all adjustable manually, as you can see there. It does have some overmats as well, so that's kind of cool. But it's a nice place to be inside. We will obviously do a full review of this, and we'll do a couple of other videos of how we're going to fix this, but as you can see, it's not been massively loved. It needs a really good valet, which is fine. You know, that's not a problem for me. There's no nasty marks here and there. There's no marks on the roof. There's no marks down the side. The wheel trims, which are just trims, have all been smashed to pieces. Well, they're scratched up at least, but I prefer the alloys anyway, so we're going to see how they clean up. So that's the exterior this side, and we will go down the front, and then we'll talk about basically what's going on with the damage wise. There's another wheel trim there, as you can see, which has been badly damaged. Oh, and look, another wheel trim that's been scratched to pieces. And yeah, this is why. This is a cat N. That's where the bumper used to live, and that's where the headlight used to live. The bonnet doesn't seem to have taken any damage whatsoever, which is a bloody godsend. Neither did the windscreen. The crash bar doesn't look to have been damaged, apart from this tiny little bit here. There's a bit of plastic hanging off there. Not quite sure what that's about. We will find out, of course. The water bottle does look to have been pushed back slightly on this bracket, but I'm sure we can bend that back. Worst case scenarios, we'll just have to get another water bottle. It's not the end of the world. But the crash bar itself is fine, because you can see from the angle of the other one, it's exactly where it should be. One little thing that really pissed me off, I have to say, is this. I'm not sure if it'll show up on camera, but just there's a tiny little kink. I'll try and show you all the angles there so you can see. And I think it kind of goes down there. And I've got a horrible feeling we might actually have to buy another wing because of that tiny little bit there. I put a shout out for some PDR guys to come around and have a look at that, because they might be able to pull that back out, because the wing's another 150 quid plus a ball ache of taking this one off and putting the other one on. The inner arch liner there as well, that's gone obviously, so we'll have to find one of those. I will show you under the bonnet, although there isn't really very much, if I can find the doodah, there isn't very much to see obviously, because it's an electric car. We're going to have to take this panel off here to try to get to the battery, as it's disconnected there at the moment. But everything does work in the respect that I can get in there and open the doors and lock the doors, do the windows, etc, etc. So it does have power. And over here, as you can see, that's where the headlight would normally sit, and it doesn't anymore. But we do have good news about that. I will stick a picture in the top left corner now of the headlight and the little bit of plastic that I found in the bag of broken plastic bits. There's literally 1,000 little bits of plastic that were broken off and kindly, in this situation, put into a bag. And in amongst those, I'll just stick it in here, is the top little bit there, as you can see, of the top of the mount, as it were, for the headlight, which I think is probably this bit here. So that saved me £300 in buying a new headlight, because I actually had one in my basket for eBay, and they're £299 for a headlight. But that tiny little bit of plastic has hopefully saved me 300 quid. But I will probably end up spending that 300 quid on getting that wing sorted and that rear lip spoiler. So yeah, it swings and roundabouts, doesn't it? But the bonnet seems to be fine. This headlight, yeah, perfect, isn't it? No, not really, because when you get down there's a tiny little bit chipped out of there. I know, as I said, these are £300 for a light, so you just think, well, for fuck's sake, I don't know what to do about that. I'm going to get everything else sorted and then decide what to do. I'm going to offer the bumper up, see how it looks, etc, etc. I may be keeping this car for a little while, because as I said, I was interested in buying an electric car, so I may keep this for a little while, because I want to see what it's like, how I live with it with that light, and we'll deal with the spoiler at another time. The main priority right now excuse me, the main priority right now is to get this thing up and running on its, I mean, it's on its wheels, but that's the other thing as well I did forget to mention. It does have some kind of weirdness going on at the front. I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell from here, but one of the wheels is splaying out. This one over here, the near side wheel, is splaying out. There is some damage behind there. I don't know what it is, if I'm honest. I'm guessing, you can't really see very much, I'm guessing it's probably tie rod end, lower control arm, steering, something or other, little drumstick maybe. I don't know. We're gonna have to get the wheels off and find out, but there's something there not quite right. I'll give you another little look down there, and hopefully you can see that the wheels are off camber there. We got it here and off the truck. Lovely guy, actually. I'll put his details in the description. West Country Transportation, I think they're called. As I said, I'll put their link in the description. Really helpful guys. Unfortunately, it did cost me £350 to get it here because I bought this from ASM in Oxford. So you couldn't have got much further away. So add another 350 quid to the bill. We'll talk about the bill in the second video and I'll tell you exactly how much I paid for this. That is so annoying, that little bit of wing there. But we're going to put the headlight in because I've managed to salvage that with that little bit of plastic I just showed you. And we'll see how it looks. I think it's going to need a new wing. So another 150 quid just for that, which is such a bollock. Anyway, so we're looking at getting that wing sorted out, getting the wheels sorted out. The bumper I've already ordered, which is 200 quid. I think it's going to need paint. If it does, what I'll do is I'll basically take the paint, I'll take the bumper and the wing to my paint guy around the corner and I'll just get him to fix the wing as opposed to get another one, because you'll probably do that for 150 quid. And you think, well, if it's going to be in there for paint, just do the whole bloody thing, have it done. And then you know it's going to be absolutely mint. I may even get him to blow in that little scratch down there. We'll see. I mean, obviously, if you decide to subscribe to the channel to find out exactly what happens to this little Cat N, by the way, I forgot to mention that it is a Cat N, and the first Cat N I've seen like this, because as I just said, they tend to be Cat S because of the value. The insurance companies, obviously, they look at the value of the parts, the value of the car, and then decide if it's economically viable to fix it or just scrap it. So you don't get a lot of Cat Ns. They're starting to come through now because this is 3 years old, so it's probably worth 11, 12 grand at best. And they probably thought, well, look, it's going to take 6 grand, 7 grand to fix it with MG parts. Bugger it, let's just scrap it. At which point I came in. But it's not going to be a cheap fix because it is, as I said, a relatively new car. The bumper was only a couple of £100. The headlight I think I've saved. The other headlight, we'll see. So it's just the wing and that little chip out of the back lip. The other thing I wanted to tell you about was the fact that I can't actually bloody drive it. Now, why can't you drive it, Dan? Well, we got in, then the guy said to me, it doesn't drive, Dan. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It says it runs and drives on the listing, as in starts and drives. He said, well, it doesn't. He said that you've got a huge warning that comes up here. I can't show you because the battery's on. We'll get into that on the second video, as I said. But he said you can put it into neutral if you connect the battery and then you can roll it off the trailer. He said, that's it. That's all I can do. Because it comes up with a high voltage battery error warning and all. So I mean, this is like a bloody Christmas tree at the moment, as you can imagine, after a crash. No airbags have gone off, so that's kind of cool. But I did find, well, he actually pointed it out, this little thing here. Now, if you know anything about electric cars, you'll know this is the high voltage battery cutoff switch. This fits just underneath the battery on these. I'll show you a little picture here somewhere. That's obviously not in the car, or it's in the car but not connected. I'm hoping against hope that I'm going to be able to just pop this back in, because this completes the circuit basically to the high voltage battery. I'm hoping we can just slot this back in, everything will go bingity bongity bong. There'll be a couple of other error codes, but it should at least drive then, and I can get it onto the drive, because I don't like working out in the street here with all my bloody nosy neighbours. But we'll see. I'll tell you all about that in the second video, whether we get it driving or not, because if not, that's going to bring up a whole ball ache of problems, isn't it? But we'll see. I'm going to stick that right somewhere out of the way so nobody steals it. Lovely steering wheel. I love these cars. We'll do, as I said, a full review of this car as well. But generally speaking, it needs a tidy up, but nothing drastic, you know, nothing hideous. So if you want to find out exactly what happens to this car in the next video, consider subscribing, give this video a like, a share, a thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff. And obviously, let's just see if we can zoom out here slightly. That's better. We'll get into all of this and what we found in the next video. I'll show you the bumper, because that's arriving in a couple of days. I'm going to see if I can get the PDR guy to come and have a look at that wing. I'll tell you what we find out about the rear lip. And as I said, we'll find out whether I can actually move this bloody car, or whether I bought a very, very pretty paperweight, basically. Right, that's it from Budget Cars and Bikes. I hope you enjoyed this initial kind of look around this little car. And if you want to find out how much we paid, what we're expecting to get, and what it's going to cost us to fix it, all that kind of good stuff, then, as I said, consider subscribing, give this video a like, a share, a thumbs up. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll be back in a couple of weeks and I'll let you know exactly what's happening. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch up in a couple of weeks. Cheers.